All right, everybody, welcome to the Blood Prison Shakedown. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. Haunted attractions is what we talk, and we can't talk Ohio haunted attractions without mentioning the Haunted Hydra Dark Attraction Park in Fremont, Ohio. And today we have a very special guest, Crazy Bob Turner. How's it going, man?
Hello, hello, hello. It's Crazy Bob coming to you live from where they were going to put me in one of the prison cells. But I said, no, I'm here for this special, unique broadcast thing that is done by some guy named Vicky, or Vicar, or something.
Whatever,
Vic, there we go.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to get into this thing. I'm excited. It's a pleasure to be back to your home ground location. And I saw a couple of your they're not really minions. They're more like groupies and leaders, and So, but you've got a nice setup here, and I'm excited about today.
Yeah, well, and you could end up in a cell. You are Crazy Bob, so you could end up there.
That's not a threat. That's a promise. I like that.
We got a ghost hunt going on, so it's hard telling what's going to happen.
You should
tonight.
not have told Crazy Bob there's a ghost hunt going on. Let me loose, baby. Let me loose.
Oh yeah. And hey, that's how it goes around here, man. Sometimes you come in, there's a ghost hunt, you're going to see some paranormal shit.
That is absolutely a perfect thing for a haunt, without a doubt.
Yeah.
So, what are we going to talk about today, Vic?
Well, we could start. I mean, you've been in the business for so long. We could talk all night, but we'll try and get you out of here in a respectable hour. So, I mean,
midnight hour, here we come. Not till we're done tonight.
Yeah, there we go. So tell me a little about your early influence.
Okay, well, let me shut off Crazy Bob. There he goes out the door. I'm Crazy Bob Turner's here now. Okay. That way we don't quit that. Just Bob Turner. Stay down. Good boy. Okay. Here's what it's about. My wife and I, by the way, her name is Beth. She's the boss. I'm just the flunky. She's put up with me probably 36 years now.
Wow.
And we had purchased a golf course, not because we play golf, but because it had a banquet hall. And we wanted to do some activities with company corporations and Christmas parties and class reunions where our DJ services could be utilized. And we had been in the DJ business for probably about 8 years at that point. And it just, one thing led to another, and it kept escalating. And a local activity was available, and this facility was for sale. So we said, let's do it. The only thing was I wasn't a really golf or pro type thing, and I had a lot to learn. And in Ohio, golf season only lasts about 4.5 to 5.5 months.
Yeah.
At best. But for some strange reason, banks want you to pay money for a thing called a mortgage 12 months out of the year.
That is true.
And that didn't happen very well. So we had to look for an alternate source of money-making revenue in addition to the DJ work and to the company corporate picnics and wedding receptions and Christmas parties and the golf business itself. It was good, but it was a struggle. So we needed to find another source. And of course, golf season dies actually in September. And we had about 25 acres of timber space that came with the complex. And we decided, okay, well, let's see if people are interested in doing a haunted walk through the woods. And we kidnapped about a dozen of my friends, and we went to some factories and borrowed pallets, and created some scene sets, 2 or 3 scene sets. And lo and behold, we did a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, one weekend. And it was like, well, this was a lot of fun. We didn't make a ton of money, but there's opportunity if we promote it year-round and activities. And we had the parking already in place for the golf course. We had outside facilities and restrooms and things of that nature. So one thing led to another that within about 3 years, we actually had a up-and-coming haunted business. But at that particular time, This goes back to 1988. Am I dating myself with that?
You're dating all of us, Bob.
Oh, that's good.
I was like 12, maybe 13 in 1988.
No, now that's bad. That's bad. That's real bad. But we started with that, and we realized that there was opportunity with it. At that time, though, there was no parks doing it of any kind. There was basically a charity program that was done with churches and Boy Scouts, and also with a charity groups called JCs.
Right.
And JCs really were the leadership of it because they had the wherewithal to talk to other states and talk to other chapters and show how to raise money for their projects. And I was fortunate enough to have a location that was near 3 JC chapters, but none of them really had the abilities to put the facility on. So we were already at that point. So we slowly but surely acclimated a lot of the charity groups into a program that lasted, at that time, about 3 weekends. Nice. We did Fridays, Saturdays primarily, and then as it got close to October, we'd do a Sunday. So you really only are talking probably 5 nights to 6 nights at that point.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want to say this out loud because people would laugh, but I think at that time, the first year we charged $1 a person.
Yeah.
And then at the second year, my God, we went to $2 a person. And this after the second year, it was $2 a person.
Quite a markup.
Children, we let in for $1. We were on top of it, baby.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. So that's initially how we got started with it, because we looked at it as an auxiliary, where if we just had enough to make money for that month, that could help towards a mortgage payment. For the golf course.
Yeah, for sure. So, have you always been, a Halloween guy? You watch horror movies as a kid? Always been into Halloween, dressing up and, being a monster? I
came from a very, the simple words is I came from a very poor family.
Yeah.
And Halloween was the greatest thing in the world for us because, oh my God, we could go to all the neighborhood houses and, you didn't always get, similar to today, a lot of our neighborhoods had candied apples. They had popcorn balls.
Yep.
They had special cake treats. They had bread pie puddings and just different things.
Never got that.
Yeah, well, they had all kinds of. It was a neighborhood format, so you'd go home and you'd have a feast.
Yeah,
and then you'd get the typical candy corn and baggies of that, and chocolate stuff that was in because you didn't have a lot of the commercial candy at that time. I mean, a lot of it was handmade cookies and things of that nature. So it was always my mom would make our costumes out of old clothes that we were going to get rid of. So, they'd be shredded and torn, and you'd be the ghost or you'd be a hobo.
A hobo, yeah. Guilty.
Guilty, yeah. And there would be, and this is how far it dated back, we'd be cowboys and Indians.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, I was a chief. Chief kill ya.
There you go.
We had a lot of fun, and that part of it was always good. It was not... As far as movies, I didn't get to see too many movies growing up, but I had begged and pleaded my mother to take us to Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds.
Yeah.
Now, that was the black and white version, folks. This isn't color for us. I go back to the time pre-color TVs in homes. So the black and white version came out, and that was one that it was like, it was just like electric in the theater. People are, oh my God, oh, this is terrible, and it was, something about it was just, I enjoyed. Not necessarily the gore, but just the ability to entertain an entire theater at one time.
Yeah.
So
it's a great movie. It's a classic.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
I still, every once in a while, I'll see it scheduled to be on or have it streaming or something of that nature. And I now prefer the color version of it, but it's one of those where it's like, yeah, I really got into the fact that Alfred Hitchcock portrayed the significant terror, but that he didn't do the true, complete blood, guts, and gore.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so I've used throughout all of our haunt activity, I've really used three iconic people. And he was the man that could create the mystery. He was the man who could create the suspense of terror. And you can look at some of his movies, and today it's of course a whole different version of what's done in movie business. But the way he set it up, the way he portrayed the victims and things of that nature. So,
did you see that movie in the theater?
I did.
What year did that come out?
I still lived in Knoxville. I want to say I saw it probably when I was 7.
Wow.
Or 8. 7 or
that had to
8,
been, that had
8
been
would have been second grade. So.
Yeah. A little bit of a interesting experience for a 7-year-old.
Well, at the time it came out, they weren't supposed to let children into the theaters because it was a bad movie.
Yeah.
It was a gore movie, and it's like they're pecking out the eyeballs of people. He's got vicious stuff in there. You know,
good stuff.
But no, that's really what was the catalyst that started it. That, and I grew up in. I always loved theater, so I was in children's theater all during the time I was growing up. I was active in the junior high drama department. I was active in the high school productions and plays and things of that nature. And then I had the opportunity to go to the University of Tennessee, and there was a professor there called Dr. Albert Harris, long passed away, may he rest in peace. But that man could take, he was like a Steven Spielberg in the raw. And I use that example because he was way ahead of his time. And there at the University of Tennessee, they didn't teach you how to be active on a stage. They taught you how to be active in theater in the round. So you had a 360 entertainment format.
Right.
And, that's how I started out in really enjoying it and stayed with it and was involved in community theaters. And that's actually where I met my wife. So,
wow, there you go.
There you go.
It all worked out.
Yeah.
So, did you? I mean, that most people have that early influence of movies or dressing up, going trick or treating, all that stuff. Did you work any haunted attractions?
No.
No.
I never worked a haunted attraction, but what I did do for many years for Halloween, it's called giving back. Well. I would set up the houses that always led to a front porch. So I always had a front porch. So I would decorate the front porch. And of course, I was the infamous guy in the rocking chair that was the dummy. And the wife would answer the door, or the girlfriend, or whoever I was with at the time. And while they would do it, then as the kids would start to leave, the guy in the rocking chair would come to life.
There you go.
So, Chief Killia made several appearances in Ohio at that time because I was not associated with a theater or activities during that. So, and the ones that did come to the front porch got big bags of candy, and they were well rewarded. But the ones that stayed down away from the steps, it's like, oh, and I was a mean guy, mean guy.
You?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's great. I mean, starting off that way, doing Chief Killia, because we only know you as Crazy Bob Turner. So how did you become? I mean, where did you dig up Crazy Bob? Like, how did you make him?
Well, the first couple of years that after we bought the golf course, it wasn't Crazy Bob. It actually was Hillbilly Bob.
So it evolved.
It evolved.
Yeah.
I felt limited. I didn't enjoy Hillbilly Bob. I'm originally from Knoxville, Tennessee.
Yes.
So I still had a twang, a Tennessee accent to a certain degree. And, I just didn't enjoy, I felt trapped with Hillbilly Bob. But it was easy, it was quick, didn't require a lot of makeup. And at that time, makeup was not a big deal. You smeared on some stuff to be a ghost or a Frankenstein or the Mummy, because that's what was still the iconic characters during the late 80s, early 90s. It was an evolution, and all of a sudden it became, horror movies became more intense, the makeup became more Dick Smith and all the other ones that came out of the woodwork literally evolved our industry tremendously.
Yeah.
So, and there was some friends of mine who were in a big band, music sound. They would have anywhere from 9 to 13 people in the band, and that's orchestra, instruments, things of that nature. But they all had plaid jackets and matching colored pants that were blues or reds or golds. And a band, one of my friends, he shut the band down because the big band sound was dying, and television was bringing in kid shows and different things of that nature. So long story made short was he gave me all of his bands, and he had like 5 or 6 different ones. And they were after 6 beautiful tuxes in my thing, but they had cummerbunds and they had music notes on them and everything. So Crazy Bob became a kind of something I wanted a little bit of this, a little bit of that, because I didn't like just doing scary things. I did like to add the entertainment aspect and how to interact with people. Because when you come in, if you're already scared, the object is not, I'm not interested in scaring you because you're an easy target. I want your daddy.
Yeah.
I want your big brother that's supposed to be there who's picking on you. I want to drop his butt to the ground. So Crazy Bob became the ultimate coordinator or entertainer or activity. So I had a good side and I had that's not a very nice guy.
Yeah.
So, and I have worn those. I've worn those outfits for almost 26 years now.
Wow.
So
That's
Crazy
great,
Bob
man.
as a character did evolve with it, but I used a combination of that one. And again, it's Alfred Hitchcock. I want to draw you in.
Yeah.
I want to be nice and talk to you very softly and then get you a little closer so that I can really just flatten you like a pancake.
Right, right.
With the science of that. But in order to do that, you need some mirth. As I was growing up, they had an entertainer called Red Skelton, who told innuendos. And with that said, you got Benny Hill, who told all the dirty innuendos.
Yeah.
So I put a combination of Red Skelton and something of that nature together. So I had an entertainment side.
That's a good combo.
And I would watch the shows 3 or 4 times each one just to pick up different lines that were good, common lines that I could use in front of children. And then I'd use the other ones from Benny Hill that the parents would get and absolutely know, you dirty little boy.
Yeah.
So it worked out really good. And then with the Alfred Hitchcock, once I've got you sucked in, I'm going to lower the boom on you. So that's when you look at it and it's like, it was a combination. And as we grew, it wasn't just 15, 25 people waiting to get in. It became 50 to 75, and then you got a whole tent you need to entertain.
Yeah.
So you put on a PA system and you're entertaining the tent. Everybody's watching what you're doing to these people as you let them in their house on a fast speed basis. So at that point is when I really got the hang of it, and I started watching P.T. Barnum's, some of his movies and his activities. How do you control the crowd? How do you interact with a large number because you're no longer doing it. And actually, P.T. Barnum was the master of a 360 stage because they were three-ring circus.
Yeah.
So it all kind of fell into place by about the 5th year.
Yeah. That's great, man. So something you said kind of, anybody that goes to a haunted attraction, especially yours, you've been around a long time. A lot of people have been to the Haunted Hydro. If you haven't, get there. It's in Fremont, Ohio. I've been to it a few times myself. Just talking about becoming that character, and how you can turn it off and turn it on. Like, you've been doing it a long time, of course. The people these days, the actors, like, if you want to act in a haunted attraction, give them that, that here's what you got to do.
Right.
You know?
You got to be happy with what you do, number one.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that not every character works perfect at every haunted house.
Very true.
And, there's different classifications of a house. You've got the family-friendly ones. I call it the Casper the Friendly Ghost format.
Sure.
And you're not there to be big and bad. You're there to do a fun Halloween activity, but you still need to be a character. And
right.
When you looked at that, that's when you try to understand: can you have multiple capabilities by the same character? You put different makeup on for the different formats that you're trying to do, and you've got other haunts throughout the United States where it's like, we only do one thing. We're here to make sure you go out with wet pants on, and that
right.
We scared the crap out of you.
Yeah.
And each owner makes that decision what they want to do. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you need to understand when you go to a haunt, is this the thing that I want to do?
Yeah.
Because a lot of them get there and then they're disappointed, or I'm a better actor than this. Some of them are, and I don't take this wrong for all your listeners, but I'm actor man, I'm actor woman.
Yeah.
Well, some of you are, and God bless each and every one of those people, because that's how we are successful as a haunted house. But you also have to have some humility, where
absolutely
a family that's already on the verge of saying, we can't do this, we're going to leave. Mm-hmm. Is that really the approach that you want to be as a character?
Right.
So you have to have a backup format. You have to know how, when two people are arguing, how do you break it down so that they forget what the situation is and they're more interested in your haunted house?
Yeah.
Well, hello. It's the Haunted Hydro. Do you not know what a hydro is? Boys and girls and listeners out there, let me tell you, it is a hydroelectric power plant. Now, for those that are listening, come a little closer. Come on, a little closer. You got to bring that sense into it.
Yeah.
And then when you've got them, they forget what they're arguing about. Or,
right.
So as a character, you have to have a multiple capability as an actor. You have to also read the people, because some are easy targets, some are not.
Yeah.
Some of them, nothing scares me. I love those people.
Yeah.
I love those people. God bless them, because they're the ones that drag everybody else there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I want to see, okay, I know some of my people, I know some of our situations, and it's like, I'll radio ahead and say, hey, free game. Do what you want to do, but take him down.
Yeah, yeah.
So, and it's that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
But again,
for sure.
That's the character, that's the opportunity, and as an actor, you don't learn it overnight.
No, and that's kind of what we tell them here. The same thing. It's like, once you get that first scare, you're going to learn from that, and you're going to get excited, because a lot of people are like, I'm not scaring nobody, and it's like, try something different. Just try something different. Watch your zone leader. Watch the guy next to you. See what he's doing. I'm saying, then you got they're stealing my scare thing. No, you do a variation of what they're doing. I
love it when they say, they're stealing my scare.
Oh, I know.
Or they're interrupting my presentation. And it's like, excuse me, what you need to do is learn to adapt.
Yeah.
And you need to learn to work off of each other.
Exactly.
It's attract, distract, and scare.
Yep.
Attract, distract, and scare over and over and over in every room and in every location. And not everybody can be the scare.
Right.
Some of them are the object of focus because as they're going through, we're looking at the poor girl. Is this somebody that is part of a guest and she got separated from her group? And is she really in pain, or is she really part of somebody that needs help? And then, of course, you fall for the pit of that, and there's somebody waiting to, put the double whammy on.
Yeah. I'm sorry. That was just kind of brought me back to what you said earlier when you said you like the guys that come in and they're not scared. They come in and they're just whatever. Because that's kind of what I try to tell people as well. Because I can't really myself. I've never really scare acted before. Okay, I've done stuff, but I've never been in makeup and on the haunt floor. I've ran puppets and things of that nature. But it's easy to get that kid that's visibly scared. It's the guy that is walking through stiff-necked and just like but the people that go after them, like you, get my respect a lot more.
Well, that's why I said you have to. I taught for almost 10 years. I taught a program called Hauntertainer University, and that's actually how I started Team USA. Because in 7 years we sent 28 people to Australia.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
With the Hollywood Horror Program with Jay Jones. He came to Midwest Haunters Convention and had seen videos and tapes of different things, and he says, this guy is 6'7", and he's an Australian. And he's pointing fingers right at me saying, I don't want to talk to your staff. I want to talk to you. And it's at a show. Yeah. And I was, fortunately, he was very patient because I thought, you big idiot. I'm in the middle of a presentation and you want me to do what? That's how we first started out. But he ended up being one of my best friends, and he is the second largest entertainment company in Australia.
Oh, wow.
And he's now gone on to, through some of the videos and productions and the people that we've sent, to have a complete core of how he wants his operation to run. And the Royal Easter Show there it's over 200 years as a festival. It's at the Sydney Olympics site, which is one of the few remaining sites that is still highly successful and very profitable and continues to grow. In 14 days, they have almost 1 million people go through it.
That's crazy.
1 million people go through it. There's over 2,000 entertainment venues, which is what the horror program is that he's using. And in the history, when I started, his company, which is over 25, him and a partner, over 25 years, it's now in the second generation of family. Right. And he was part of the second generation. They had never won a blue ribbon. They only give out 3 ribbons for 2,000 vendors. And to this date, they've now won 5 ribbons, including 3 blue ribbons, which no other vendor in the 200-year history for the Royal Easter Show has ever happened. So I was just overwhelmed and excited. The United States showed the capabilities, and the people that went who represented the program that we had just was amazing. So, but again, it's choosing a multiple talented person who can look and read the crowds, who has several different options, because this was family formatted, and they don't celebrate Halloween.
No.
Not at all. They celebrate traditional folklore in horror. They celebrate horror movies. Freddy Krueger, all of these type of things. Yeah. Oh my God. When you get away from the United States, you really realize how specialized Halloween is. Yeah. When you go to Ireland, it's the Irish Moors and all of the dreaded ghosties and things of that nature that they have, but they don't have Halloween. You know, it is changing, it is evolving, it is growing, and there's different things, whether you want to call it a fall festival, whether you want to call it whatever. But there is a growing format. But over there in Australia, the first beginning years, people, we had 5 exits and had to put in 3 more because we scared them so bad they were tearing the house apart to get out of it. And it was like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, that had to have been fun.
It was. I mean, I had to learn how to tone it down just at the front door.
Yeah.
Just so that we didn't lose the people right at the front door. We knew they get a front door pass and get inside. There was a 10-second. That's all you got was 10 seconds. Just walk over, boom. We take your picture. Freddie, with Freddie. Freddie, picture. Now, we call it in the United States a melting pot. Mm-hmm. Over there, it is unbelievable with the amount of people that speak different languages and everything else, and especially with this festival. They would take a picture with Freddie, and if they got past the 3 rooms, we knew there was a chance that they might make it through. But they would come back, even if they ran out the exits, they'd come back and buy a $20 picture with them and Freddie, just so they could take it and show it to everybody else.
That's cool.
So, and it's learning curves and fun things that, you know, when you do bring it back. How do you promote your haunt? How do you grow your haunt? How do you establish the characters? You yourself know you have here at Mansfield Reformatory one of the most beautiful, iconic backgrounds and opportunities. Mm-hmm. And you've developed a number of characters that are solid with the atmosphere here.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's unique for sure. You know, the venue definitely helps. Your building, I mean, it's not this big, but I mean, it's still pretty unique.
It's so unique. There is only 2 that are used with haunt at this point. Our building was built in 1910.
Okay.
It was used in 1945. At that point,
that's not very long.
No, because the Sandusky River is a seasonal business. And speaking of Sandusky River, I'm going to, people, if you're listening to this show, don't shut it off. I have an opportunity that's golden for everybody listening to Vic and his wonderful program here, and we're going to pass this along. So if you want to have a bonus activity and see a great haunt that was built in 1910, I'm kind of flattering myself a little, you know. Wait a minute.
There you go.
I'm pumping up my chest, folks. You can't see it, but can they see it? Yeah, they could see it.
They can see it.
They can see it. Okay.
Well deserved.
I'm pumping up my chest. So, but we're going to make an offer for everybody listening, and you can spread the word to those in the haunt industry. One of the things we like to do is to give back. But our building is very unique. There were only 4 dams left in the state of Ohio. 2 are still have been completely rebuilt because the technology for hydroelectric power has now, where it used to be massive and based upon water going through squirrel cages and vent fans and things of that nature, is obsolete. Now they are able to conduct electricity through copper rods and things of that nature, so to speak, and they can produce massive amounts with that. And I own the 3rd one, and the 4th one is decayed in such a state that it may or may not be salvaged. So, and there's only one other location that was a combination of a municipal way. They weren't based just on. It was out in Idaho that it had water power capabilities, and it's no longer functional, but they're doing something with that one. So
you mentioned earlier you're from Knoxville, Tennessee. How'd you end up in Fremont, Ohio?
Well, that's a whole different question. I
mean, you're a landmark there. So.
I did go to the University of Tennessee for 3 years.
Yeah.
And during that period of time, that was social unrest. When they talk about rioting and everything else, there was forced bus integration in Tennessee back in 72, 73, 74.
Okay.
And I lost all desire to be a teacher. I was going for a Bachelor of Arts. And so I went down to Florida, Jacksonville, Florida, for a couple of years, worked for St. Regis Craft Mill, bought and sold antiques on the side. I've always liked to do a couple of different things.
Yeah.
And then there was a little girl that came down to Jacksonville, Florida. I ended up, it was a significant other, we'll call it that. And so we ended up here back in Ohio, where her family was from, in Northwest Ohio. And I started work for Mosier Construction as a laborer, doing bricky work and mortar and things of that nature in a union. And so for 11 years, I was in industrial construction. I eventually parted ways with that princess. And then I was single for a couple of years, and then I was active in the theater with the activities, and that's where I met my wife, and she's put up with me for 36 years now. So,
wow.
But that's, so I've lived in a couple of different states. I've traveled all over the world with scouting. I was a scoutmaster for 5 years in Ohio here. And prior to that time, various positions and activities with scouting. And I went on a European Scout Friendship Tour. I went to the World Jamboree in Japan. I've done the Finnish National Jamboree. I've traveled all over Germany. You know, I've enjoyed seeing the world.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, and then, of course, we did 7 production years in Australia, 4 of which I went. I sent my daughter on a couple of them. My wife went with me on one, which we all worked. And then Jay Jones sent me over to New Zealand. And that was what I was after, because I got to see where The Hobbit and everything was produced. And, you know, it was, I wanted to see, that was kind of like I want to go see this movie land. And they've kept it almost intact. And, of course, the brewery type pub was there. And
that's cool.
It was a lot of fun. You land at the airport in New Zealand, and the terrazzo floors are all about Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah?
It's fabulous. So haunting can take you a lot of places.
It sounds like it. Here, I was impressed just by my early days of going just around the country. You know, you've been to Japan and, would you say, Germany, Australia, New Zealand?
And Finland. And I've enjoyed a lot of activities. And not a lot of those were scouts, and then a lot of them also were the haunted programs.
Yeah.
So, and all through it, you know, I've had the support of my wife, and my daughter still is learning her way through life, because all during this time, it's like, you're always building something at the Hydro, and you're always doing this. And now she's got 7 businesses, and she's at Put-in-Bay.
Oh, there you go.
So Put-in-Bay, folks, is the party playground. Make sure you go to T&J's Smokehouse, say Crazy Bob sent you. Or you can go to the Swim Up Bar. You can go to the Pirate Ship. You can go to Level 2, which is a kind of like a disco party place.
Yeah.
So all those...
Many places up there.
Many places up there. Yeah. And tell them Crazy Bob sent you.
Is that good or bad? How are they going to treat it that way?
Well, I've never gotten kicked out of any of those. I should have been, but I wasn't.
Yeah. I think we've all had that up there.
Yes.
I had my bachelor party at Put-in-Bay.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place.
It's a lot of fun.
And if you get the chance, definitely make a 2 or 3 dayer of it. They also do. There is a major concert there called Bash at the Bay.
Yeah.
And they also, my wife's and her family's, the nieces, all produce that.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
wow.
Yeah. And that's in August. Check it out.
Yeah.
Put-in-Bay Bash, 2 of the very best country singers this year.
Yeah. So, that's cool. Yeah. That's killer. So you end up in Fremont. That's so awesome that you've been all over. I never knew that, though. I mean, I knew the Australia thing.
Yeah.
Because I've talked to other people that have been there.
Yeah.
But that's amazing.
Yeah.
That you've been all those other places and, you know, just traveling around the world doing that kind of stuff. And It gives you that knowledge, though. It gives you that experience, and
you learn to appreciate, and this is something that really frustrates me. You learn to appreciate our freedoms we have here. You learn to appreciate what many Americans have fought and died for to give us our freedom, just to even have Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, how can you do this? Well, commercially, it's ruled by fire departments and building codes and insurance companies and everything else.
Yeah.
So we're doing it the right way, and we have to do it safely, but we have the fun to give an entertainment aspect that you don't get someplace else. And if you are in certain countries, that aspect of entertainment is not there. It's real terror. It's real blood and dictatorship.
Yeah.
And I've seen some of that. And that's when you start looking at it and it's like, you know, we don't realize how good we have it.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah. It's true. I mean, I've never been overseas, and I'm not big on flying. You know, everyone like, what? Hey, man, we need to go over. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I've been to Canada. I've been to Mexico. So I've been out of the country.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Not that I wouldn't do it, but
I'll tell you another little secret about Crazy Bob.
Yeah.
I still love to fly. Rex Damschroeder and Fremont Airport, and I actually started on a grass field in Indiana, and I have a student pilot's license.
Oh my!
And I have flown solo, so
oof.
Yeah, so you're
one of those small planes.
Oh yeah, the little Cessnas. Man. Oh yes,
I can't do it.
Yes, you can.
No, I can't, man. My stepfather had a pilot's license as well. Probably like, I mean, he flew the small ones,
right,
you know.
Right.
And he told me one time, you got to come up. I was like, you know, I go, how big is it? And he was like, oh, it's about the size of your mom's car. I'm like, no way. I'm not getting in that. Oh, it ain't so bad. I'm like, yeah, but I'm a chicken shit.
After this is over with, I got a special one to show you.
Okay.
It's a biplane. Rex Damschroeder had one completely restored. He says, Bob, let's go over to Put-in Bay. He says, I'll let you fly it. Gone. I don't care what my schedule was. We're done. We're going.
Oh, man.
It was one of the best days of my life.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, flying's the way to go. I tell everybody, it's look, safest way to travel.
It is very safe. And you know, unfortunately, the pandemic really did hurt the industry, as it did with shipping and cruises and everything else.
Everything, yeah.
You know, so well, that brings up another one. Bloody Mary, a.k.a. Bobby Wiener of the industry, special makeup artist and an icon supporter of haunted houses and acting and educational classes and things of that nature. She and I did 7 Carnival cruise lines with the Bloody Mary Crazy Bob cruises.
Oh, man.
And we did that for 7 years. And she did it a couple of more years. I learned to take a step back, and I had to reorganize my life because it was like I need to build the Hydra back. So
what was that, like over the summers?
That would actually go in March and April.
Oh, okay.
March and April.
That's killer.
That's when our time was.
What haven't you done, Bob?
Well, there's a lot of things I still want to do. So
yeah, well. That's awesome, though, because it doesn't seem like there's the word can't is in your vocabulary.
Well, not everything's always successful, but if you don't give it a try, then you don't know whether it'll work. That's why it was kind of like, and I know I've shared with you, and you and others have seen, for the last couple of years, I'm really at a point where I want to try some other activities, other career activities. And the Hydra was... We currently were pushing to sell the Hydra. And it was one where it's like, it's a beautiful facility. It's in an agricultural-based community.
Yeah.
It's got proven marketing format. We are now doing second-generation families coming to the Hydra, and, oh, he was here, you know, this and that. And it's a good business. But when 9/11 occurred, it took 3 years to recoup from that.
Yeah.
When the pandemic happened, it actually took us 6 months, but we made and matched a COVID-19 program policy so that we were able to open for that. And it was actually one of our best years, but it took 6 months to reorganize, reroute, redo. And I'm going to give a big shout out, a shameless shout out. Thank you once again to Haunt Pay.
Yeah.
or creating the virtual queue line, because without that, we could not have opened.
Wow.
So
That's awesome.
so we kind of took it back and said, well, do we really want to sell it? And that's when I got good news for you.
Yeah.
Vic, you don't like to fly, right? It's just a little great.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about water activity?
I love water activity.
So I take it that you are a prime candidate to get into a kayak or a canoe.
Any day of the week.
Ding, 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 ding. Ladies and gentlemen, you see it here live today. Vic from the Mansfield Reformatory is going to come because I'm going to interrupt this program. You see, you can't make all your money in one spot. Not very easily.
No.
You usually have to hold a full-time job. Mm-hmm. You have to hope that you have good years. You have to hope that you have good weather. You have to hope.
Yeah.
You got good staff that'll help keep it running and organized. We've done that, and we've expanded, but it's only good during the month of October.
Yeah.
We do a halfway to Halloween, couple of nights.
Yeah.
It helps.
Yeah.
And there's other activities. We do a group photo shoot, by the way.
Yes.
8 times out of the year, highly successful. If you're a model, if you're a photographer of amateur to pro, if you do goth, if you do cosplay, if you do haunted activities and want to develop different characters or take photographs to promote your character, do different things to study them. We have one coming up in August. We do that in August. We do one in September, and then we'll do one in November. We do not do any during the month of October. We cordially invite you. It's $35 to get in. Mm-hmm. The photographers and models work the agreements between themselves. Most of them have no fees involved. And you use our facility as a playground.
There you go.
But that adds a little bit of revenue. But we're excited. We're really excited. My wife and I have been whitewater rafting and up and down the New River in Pennsylvania and West Virginia and a lot of areas around in Ohio. And so we started a lot of our building for the Hydra is done by volunteers.
Okay.
Usually my staff. And it's one of those where it's like, hey, you know what? If you put in 6 hours, we'll take the last 2 hours of the day and we're going to jump in the kayaks and we're going to go down the river, and Bob might even buy you a medicinal beverage at one of the local establishments.
Wow.
So, come and
More
work.
and more enticing.
More enticing.
Yeah.
And it started out just as a fluke, and it worked into, can we go?
Yeah.
And then we'll work, but we want to take our spouse or our girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever the case. Now it's like, oh my God, one of our staff has 5 kayaks, and we had 3 or 4 kayaks, and it kept leading to. It's like, oh my God, what are we doing? And the next thing I know, my wife says, her family was actually in a Portage Trail canoe livery program. Long story made short, was we got the rights to have that land back. And they took out a dam. The hydroelectric power plant produced the electricity, but there was a dam about a mile up the river behind us.
Yeah.
And they took the dam out, and we now own a kayak and canoe company called Ghoul Runnings Kayak Adventures. Now, it's basically class 1, 2, and on the really wild weekends and things of that nature when the water's way up, it is to some degree a class 3. So what we are doing is we're going to tell all your listeners. Now, I told you I had something special for you guys.
Yeah, you did.
And we're going to challenge you. You bring a group up. You and your friend are free, courtesy of me. And what we're going to do with this, now, boys and girls, if you bring 8 or more of your crew from any haunt or any group for a river trip, you're going to save $5 a person, point blank. And then after your tour down the river, we're going to give you a second tour free of charge. You get to go through the haunted hydro.
There you go.
And one of my staff or myself will give you the full information. You can take pictures. You can have a good time. And it's our courtesy of saying to the haunt industry, thank you to those who have helped us grow along the way.
Yeah.
And and we're going to get you. Repeat after me. I will
do
a kayak Adventure.
Adventure.
That's right, boys and girls. You just heard Vic commit to doing the program. We're approximately an hour and 25 minutes from Mansfield. We're in Fremont, Ohio, which is located between Toledo and Sandusky.
Yeah.
Right there on the turnpike, mile marker number 91. We are using the Sandusky River. Beautiful areas. We have 3 different 2-hour trips or a 4-hour trip.
Wow.
Now, when you come in, you're going to get the 2-hour trip, and we will give you the discount. And then you specifically will get to tour the Hydro. And we have 2 tour buses that we use for shuttling, and we take care of the watercraft. If you have your own kayaks, you can bring them. We give you a discount even for that.
Wow. So that's, man, 2 hours. So how far is that? I mean, like mileage-wise, what are you looking at?
It depends on the level of the river, the speed of the river, and it also depends on where we put you in. We actually have 18 points on the river where we can take you in and put you out.
Well, that's killer.
So, and we have one section that's a very mild, easy program. So if you've got a lot of people who have never kayaked before, that's great. If you want to come down and do just a 1-hour program, in addition to the Gould's Running Kayak Adventures, we have an A-frame on the Sandusky River. Adjacent, up on top beside us, is the city of Fremont owns a water reservoir, a huge water reservoir. It holds 90 days of capacity for all the industry and everything. And we have a yak shack up there. A yak shack.
Yak shack.
A yak shack. That's for, a kayak, a yak shack.
Oh, gotcha.
Gotcha. And we can put you out there, and it's safe, it's sound, and those rentals run only $15 for an hour anyway.
Right.
And we'll give you a quick 5 to 7 minute movie format. Then you can go out and you can do that, and we'll still agree to give you a tour of the Hydro. So
that's cool,
Vic. If you get a little bit of a cold feet. Let's hope he doesn't, folks.
Nah. I've been kayaking.
Oh, my God. We've heard it. The pro is coming to Fremont.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay. Well,
no, I enjoy it, though. It's a lot of fun.
And we want to once again say thank you for this. And it's our way of giving back to the haunt industry.
Yeah.
Bring your group. Have them do some different activities or a different project and reward them with coming to a other haunted house program.
Yeah.
And we're doing this 4 months out of the year. It basically goes May, June, July, and August. We may be open the first 2 weeks of September. And again, that still allows us to get the Hydro up and running with our program's activities. And we originally were going to use it out of the back of the haunted Hydro because we have a glacial rock that just naturally goes out to the river.
Yeah.
But the city of Fremont came in and said, hey, we want you to do this. And we've already received a Ohio Tourism award of recognition for the accomplishments that we've got in place now. And we're tying it into an inland bike trail. So if you like to cycle, there's over 46 miles of protected asphalted bike opportunities to bike in or bike out.
Right.
So there's a lot of great things that are happening. And we want to say thank you to the city of Fremont, key staff, the mayor, Danny Sanchez, and all of his staff that have stood behind us and are helping us do that.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. I mean, just adding everything to it, man. Haunting, kayaking.
Well, see, in Crazy Bob's mind, if you've never been to the haunted house, but you come to a Gould's Running, then, by the way, that is a Gould, Ghoul, Gould's Running. And that's kind of a takeoff of the movie, where the bobsled team went,
Cool
crazy.
Runnings or whatever.
Yeah. So, and again, it was not something that we invented. We started doing it with our staff as a way of rewarding people for helping us and working with us, and they enjoyed it. They had a good time. So use it as a tool to help your programs, and we're glad to be a part of it. And in the rewards, you get to tour our facility.
Yeah.
So
I'll get a hold of you. We'll come up for sure.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner, ladies and gentlemen.
So let me tell you the first time I went through the haunted Hydro.
Okay. I'm sitting down. This is good.
Yeah, this was good. I want to say it was Halloween of 96.
Okay.
I want to say it was 96, maybe 97. It was one of those years.
Right.
And I'd been to a haunted attraction before that. Well, I mean, it was the Ghost Town in Findlay, Ohio. They had the ghost town thing. That's the first one I ever went to, but yours was the second one. I was just out of high school, and my buddy called me up and he said, "Hey, let's go over to the haunted Hydra." And I'm like, "What are you talking? What is it?" And he was telling me, and I'm like, "Oh, that sounds awesome. Let's go." So we, I was in it right away, and we get over there, and my girlfriend was, she wanted to go, but I don't think she really realized what she was getting herself into, which made it even better. So there was a guy there. I don't know who. I mean, it's been, I don't know, 20, 25 years, 24 years, something like that. There was a guy there, and I if I remember correctly, and I'm old, so my memory's not as good as it once was, but I can swear he was Beetlejuice. He was playing a Beetlejuice character.
We've had him before, yeah.
Okay, and he was like front of the house, like right at the door.
Right.
And he was, doing that, and he let us in, and it's just thinking back to that is so much fun because you can't do, at least we can't here, you can't do that stuff anymore. But we walked in, and it was like he shuts the door, and we're like, I mean, it's just nothing. It was just complete black darkness. We couldn't see anything. We're just feeling the wall, trying to figure out where to go. Oh, there's a corner, so I must be going this way. And he insisted that my girlfriend goes first. So it was my girlfriend, me, and my buddy, and his girlfriend. She refused. And she's like, okay, wall, and I'm married to her now, so she's probably going to be mad. I'm telling her the story. She won't even come through the haunt anymore.
We love you, honey.
Yeah. She's like, I got a wall. Okay, I got wall. Because literally, we could not see our hand in front of our face.
Right.
And she's like, I got wall. Wait a minute, bars. I got bars. I feel bars. And I'm like, bars? And she was like, yeah. And then right when she said, yeah, bars, this strobe light kicked on, and there was this dude, and he was just right there. And it was hysterical because I was kind of standing off like a side profile, and she just looked at this guy and just screamed like, he was going to kill her or whatever. And we were like almost on the floor. We were laughing so hard. We had such a good time going through your haunted attraction back then.
Yeah.
And even now when we came a couple years ago, it was such a good time. It was scary and entertaining all at the same time, which is kind of like you. You have that scary, like what you were saying, you were like, come a little closer, and then you get that scare. Yeah. It's that all that kind of rolled into one.
We try to, we are having to re-establish at this point a little more intense scares.
Yeah.
Because that's the that's the industry at this point. And some people, it has progressed to where I use the word, people in the United States are desensitized. Mm-hmm. They're expecting more blood, more guts, more gore.
Yep.
And that comes back to my previous beliefs. We really, there for almost 20 years, I will not let you wear a mask.
Yeah.
You can't. You want to work someplace and wear a mask? You need to go someplace else. Mm-hmm. I want you to create a character. I want you to come up with your own costuming. I want you to clearly have verbiage that you're comfortable doing and that can fit different scenarios of people and activities. So we really try to we use a 3-day boot camp. If you've never been there before, then we've got updates and different boot camps. We do costuming boot camps. We do makeup boot camps. We need, and we try to educate them before we put them into the house.
Yeah. And that's great.
And those are things that are important. But now I still say with the promotionals, expect the unexpected, and I, as an owner, you have the bane of saying, yes, we have chainsaws.
Yeah.
I don't want a chainsaw. I want something different. I want something, that's unexpected. And we're working very diligently this year to produce some really good things. One of the things, we have 2 major attractions. One is in the woods. That's probably, it's about 14 to 18 minutes. And then the Hydra itself, which is a combination of inside and flood holding cell areas, which is about a 12 to 16 minute type format. And we are this year making it so that it's one, and that was because of last year with the pandemic. We are making it so that it's one way in, all the way through, and you will do both attractions at the same time. There's no 2 tents
Right.
wait. So we've reduced the waiting lines. We've reduced the activities of stagnant in between. And this year, what we're doing, for the last couple of years, we've been doing a program called a 5 to 7 minute escape room activity.
Yeah.
And we are now increasing that. We are going to have, and this isn't the true name of it, we'll keep that a little more suspenseful, but we're having an escape alley where it's left, right, left, right, left. And if you wish to do that, there's an upcharge for it.
Sure.
But it's only $5 for a 5 to 7 minute venue. If you succeed, then you have the chance to win. For the last 3 years, we've given away 2 $500 cash prizes. So if you get out and you make it, and the average is, generally speaking, 30 to 40% make it out successfully on an annual basis. And so we're doing a escape alley. So we have a super haunt this year. Everybody's like, well, we got 2 major attractions, and we got this, and we got that, and we got this. It's like, no, we got a super attraction, and we have the all-new escape alley.
That's cool.
So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we are doing it a little more intensely. So that's what's going to separate previous years to this year. And I thank you for that story, because it's always rewarding as an owner to hear that far back. And that's when I look at it. We've got established people that have been coming year after year. We've had probably 10 marriages, wedding receptions at our facility.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
And, now I'm seeing the kids that are 16 to 18 years old from the marriages that we did in the beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it thinking, I'm not getting any younger.
Yeah. Yeah.
But at this point, my wife and I decided we wanted to take this year and develop the additional revenue with the kayaking and the canoeing to see how that will place it into, basically with the group photo shoots and with the haunted programs in October, halfway to Halloween season, that with the kayaking, now somebody can look at it and purchase it, and they've got enough revenue to pay mortgage payments.
Yeah.
So if you've got $450,000, come talk to Crazy Bob.
There you go. Well, here, let me get my wallet. Yeah. That's cool, man. I mean, there's so much that goes on there how did you get the building?
Well, I owned adjacent property to it.
Okay.
The actual Hydra itself is a 6.5 acre property. And with the time ticketing, we no longer have to, I had to use a 5 acre parking lot. When you came originally with your future wife, we actually had 6 major attractions. Yeah. We had a haunted golf cart trail. We had
I remember.
A haunted putt-putt course, 18 holes. We had a banquet hall where we had a Beetlejuice program that entertained as a band, and you could get food, and we had a full liquor license and everything of that nature. But bigger's not always better. Yeah. In 2001, we were lucky enough to be one of the ones to survive, because Fear and Terror was not a good year with September 11th. Yeah, yeah. It put, at that time, there were 11 or 12 haunted houses around me that had grown up and were active. And after that year, there were only 3.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was a bust. I mean, a real bust for everybody. And it took a long time for people to come back and say, it's not like watching people jump out of the Twin Towers coming down. Yeah. And very unfortunate and very, very unnerving. Yeah. And yeah, for sure. So that's when I looked at it, and it's like, in this particular case, I love the Halloween season. I love creating activities. And that's when I looked at it, and it's like, okay, scale it back, get back to the basics. And we basically started with just the haunted hydro. And we reduced everything down to just one building, a core of 35 to 45 actors, and started from that point and had to rebuild because that almost took us out.
Yeah. What was your first year, like your very first year?
1989.
At the Hydro?
At the Hydro. Wow. No. 1989 is the very first when we did the walkthrough in the woods. My first year at the Hydro, because it was a zoning property, and I didn't get to answer your question, and it belonged to somebody who said, I want to keep the property. I don't want to sell it because I'm using the building. It's a behemoth building when you really see it. And I'm using that as storage. Well, he ended up selling the building to somebody else, and he bought it because it was full of scrap machinery. He wanted to scrap the stuff out, and then I bought the building from him. Oh. So in 93, I made the acquisition to purchase it, and in 94 was our first production, real big production, using it. Right. So, but it is a beautiful facade, a beautiful building.
Yes, it is.
And it is a one-of-a-kind in its own architectural format. And you as well understand the beauty of what I've got is that it's now one big empty brick building and then 3 turbo pits where the water dropped down, went underneath the building back out to the river. There's 3 flood holding cells for it, and it did have sluice gates that came down and controlled the flow of the water. Those are welded into place and things of that nature. And then a flood holding cell that had a capacity to hold probably 7 to 10 hours worth of water to produce electricity. So they could shut it off at the dam and still produce some water, electricity rather. So, but it's a unique building, and I've had an awful lot of fun with it.
Oh yeah. And we've always had fun going there, for sure.
Well, we're again inviting a lot of people to come back and visit us this year because, again, we're changing the tune of it. And like I said, the escape alley is going to be a highlight.
Yeah,
that
sounds fun.
We haven't done that before. A lot of coordination, a lot of issues for first aid, fire departments and everything else, but we've got that pretty much worked out at this point. So if you get past the pandemic, you can get past anything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, and that was hard doing that.
It was.
Yeah.
In fact, I wasn't sure. We knew we could do the woods. We knew we could do the escape rooms, but I wasn't sure whether we could get the Hydro building itself passed until about 3 weeks before we opened up the doors. Yeah. And we have reduced our days. We actually got to the point where it's like, okay, we're only going to do 13 days of operation this year. Maximized everything. The ticket sales went great. No waiting. You waited in your car for a short period of time. This year we have 2 48-foot semis. One is the group photo shoots that I was talking about.
Yeah.
We have a 48-foot commercial trailer with highlights of all of our photographers and models. And then the second trailer, we have collected from the first year all the way through a collective memorabilia of T-shirts and hats and informational articles and all the different celebrities and guests. We've had Alice Cooper come twice.
Yeah, that's
to
cool.
Sign signatures. We've had Buff the Stuff Bagwell, a WWF wrestler.
Yeah.
We've had Lisa Loring. We've had Butch Patrick, Little Eddie Monster. He wasn't so little anymore, but he's not the kid for sure.
Yeah. That's cool.
But we're going to have that out so that people can meander through it before they come into the proper area of the park this year.
Yeah, yeah. Are you still going to do the time ticketing?
Yes, we are absolutely staying with the time ticketing 100%. It worked perfect. We knew how many slots we could do, and we can take about 175 to 225 people an hour through it. That's not shoving them. That's not pushing them. That's actually coordinated time that leaves a nice distance between the groups. And we can put the groups anywhere from 4 people to 8 or 12 if they want it.
Uh-oh.
Sorry. I should have shut that off.
That's a popular guy, man. The phone's going to ring.
Yeah, and I'm going to kill that right now. So I apologize to your listeners.
Oh no, you're fine.
But it was one where, again, it's a unique opportunity. I also appreciated the time ticketing because in previous years, your success is wonderful, but then you suffer the show.
Yeah.
And it's whether you want to call it, there's 3 or 4 different ways. It's called a choo-choo effect.
Yeah.
You're pushing them through like a choo-choo.
Yeah.
And I would prefer to give them a better show. There may be a few people. We actually had no problems, no issues with people doing the time ticketing.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's going to stay. And when we did that it was a more leisurely paced show. Our staff did not get overwhelmed. Right. They got to do the good scares and the things that really counted for the customer base. And we had minimal issues on the first aid responder format.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't crowding and banging and pushing. And we also, you can only keep your crowd interested. We hired DJs to come in, and underneath the tent, we would have anywhere from 150 to 300 people underneath the tent. So they're playing music and pumping them up the people. We'd send in some of our best actors to intermix and mingle with the crowds. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have to do that. So I was taking some of that money and investing it into better sets, more lighting, things of that nature. So sure. Yeah. We've improved the program that way.
That's awesome.
So,
well, I know you do a good job on you were talking about training up your actors, because we've had, well, not last year. We didn't do any guest actors last year, but the year before, on Sundays, we would get a handful of your guys that would come over, and they would call, hey, can we come in and guest act? Yeah, of course, you know. Yeah. And they would come in, and they were just, a lot of them clowns. We had a lot of clowns that would come in, and they were great. I mean, they fit right in. They very respectful, and did an amazing job. A couple of them, a couple times we gave them Actor of the Night.
I started to say I know that they received some awards.
Yeah.
And most people, you know, you as an haunt management person and a creator, and you, it's like, my staff do not go to another location. That's it. You go to another location, you're out the door.
Yeah.
You know, that I don't operate that way.
Nah, me neither.
I got to the point where it's like, you know, if you don't see other locations, if you don't understand what the perimeters are that they're working in, you don't appreciate where you are at.
Yeah.
The grass is not always greener at another location. The black rose is not always nicer at the other location.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know, and I encourage my staff, they choose the nights that they want to work for us.
Yeah.
So they sign a contract, and if you want to set it up so that you can go to 2 or 3 other places, I don't hold that against them. Because if they come back, they're going to come back either a better trained actor, or they would be more appreciative that we are training them and we are helping them and we are pushing them into the method that we want. Because again, many different locations have specific guidelines and rules that they want you to follow.
Yeah.
And, you know, I give a lot of freedom. You are not going to put on a black robe. You are not going to have 5 lines to recite all night long. I want you to interact all night long. I want you to find a character that you like. I want you to create the background of that character. I don't want to, you know, here you have various roles that fit 100% to a Mansfield reformatory. From the wife of the help me.
The warden's widow.
Yeah. And I know she moved, but my God, just you have excellent actors and people that are just, this is my position and I'm going to be it for the life of me.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
And they do a great job for you. That's when you look at it and it's like, you learn those little extra pieces by going to different places and seeing different things. And, you know, then the staff comes back and says, well, I had fun and I got that little bit out of my system, but this is my home. Yeah. This is Vic is my daddy. So, Crazy Bob's your daddy.
Yeah, sure.
I appreciate the thought. I can't afford no more women in my life. So,
yeah, exactly.
But again, that's something that I do look at, and I don't hold it against them.
Yeah, no, me neither. And we've always, of course, like here it's difficult. I need a ton of actors because the building's huge.
Yes.
And it's just that's my biggest fight is the actors. Like with actors is getting them here and keeping them because a lot of people don't realize that. It's not just, it's work. Yeah. And it's more than just jumping out of a closet or chasing somebody with a chainsaw or, you know what I mean? There's a lot more that goes into it. So they come in that first night and they realize, yeah.
Listen to the words of Vic and Crazy Bob. Hello, hello, hello. I'm telling you, boys and girls, you're going to work like a dog. You're going to sweat, sweat like a banshee. Yeah. And before it's over with, you'll have a voice that just sounds like this. Hi, welcome to my room. My name is Johnny.
It's the truth.
It's a massive amount of work, but the rewards with work that's done right and with practice, it becomes a second nature.
Yeah.
So that's... again, when we have people coming for the first time, it's like, well, I'm a good actress. No, I don't want a good actress. Mm-hmm. An actress memorizes the lines and then stands in front of the public and then does created format for a storyline. And Dent Schoolhouse is a prime example of that. Mm-hmm. They do an excellent storyline from the front to the back side, and that is the thing that captures the essence of the Dent Schoolhouse. And big shout out to those guys down there, and they do a fantastic job. But in our case, we retheme it, we redo it, we reinvent the rooms 50 to 60% almost every year. Mm-hmm. And I want you to understand that when you come, you're we're going to go up here and it's this room and then we go left and because if they go 2 or 3 times a year, a season, then they know the routes. And my job is to make sure they don't know the routes.
Yeah.
So, it's, again, labor intensive before you start. And then when you do start, the actors are the ones that are the most essential part of your show.
Yeah.
How do they do it? And what they do represents everything you've worked so hard for.
All right.
So, and again, this year, it is going without question. We all in this industry are going to be in the same boat as fast food locations, as amusement parks. We are both located near Cedar Point. Terrible, tough times to find qualified help.
Yeah.
And we did a halfway to Halloween. We had a good cast and crew for the most part of repeat from previous year. That's always a good indication who will be coming back and things of that nature. And again, we do a lot of during the show, Saturday nights. I don't want to end it. Now, we couldn't last year because of the pandemic, but all previous years, I rent a theater and we go see a scary movie.
Oh, wow.
As a cast and crew, and you bring your friends, and we fill up the whole thing, and they get a bag of popcorn and pop and all those. Now, Vic's crew gets his special treatment as well, I know, but we also go bowling together and have a lanes reserved just for us after the day is done. Yeah. So every Saturday, there's 5 trips guaranteed that we're going to do something. And we used to do more than that, but we're now at a point where it's like, okay, I'm wearing everybody out.
Yeah.
By Sunday, it's like, boo. So, but and that's something that we did take back. We'll do a dark night where the lights are out format, and then we do one for the last number of years. We've done a Pride night. So those are the 2 Sundays that we're going to do. Everything else is going to be Fridays and Saturdays.
Right. Well, that's cool. So you're also doing the photo shoots too, yeah?
Yeah.
Still doing those?
Harder and heavier than ever before. And they've grown. I'm very pleased. I have Laura Stokes and Laura Cleveland and Jim Bevins that are running those operations now with our events. and I'm actually helping my wife establish the Ghouls Running Kayak Adventures now.
Gotcha.
And I do back and forth, one hat that turns 5 different directions. So,
Yeah.
But if you go on site to hauntedhydro.com, you can get the information. It's all updated. You can also go to Ghoul Running's Kayak Adventures for the kayaks and activities. Again, you don't have to have a group. You can come just as a family or as a twosome or
Right.
by yourself.
Yeah.
We have plenty of different styles of kayaks, sit-ins, sit-ons. We have 12-footers. We have 8-footers. We have small ones for the children.
Yeah.
We have different paddles. We provide the life jackets, give you a quick rundown of the strokes and techniques.
Right.
I have 15 17-foot canoes, aluminum canoes that are Grumman's and smoker crafts, so you can put up to 745 pounds in those. So you could really put 2 to 4 adults in those programs, or a combination of children and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So
That's cool.
But as far as the group photo shoots, it's really cool. And they say a picture's worth 1,000 words. But we started something this year that we've never done before during our first 3 shoots. We are now pushing heavily with TikTok programs.
Yeah.
And TikTok's has grown, and they're growing even further. They just now went to the 3-minute authorized productions. They're given the YouTube a run for their money.
Yeah.
So we also are doing YouTube, not style, but it's TikTok format. We have, you've met him, I think, before, Roger and Beth Miller.
Yeah.
That do a program also Tuesday at 7.
Yes.
Big shout out to the guys out there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in that group. Yeah.
Old friends of ours. I actually acted as a guest for the Lions Club with their program up there in Cleveland for the Bloodview.
Bloodview, yeah.
And
Yep.
I was at the front door of Bloodview a couple of different nights and activities, and I was indoctrinated to the Legion of Terror, which is their actor group.
Yes.
But again, those are things that Roger Miller and I are working on. It takes it another opportunity to push you to develop your characters, your activities, and that's part of what we're doing. Now, in August, we have special events for our group and photographers shoot. We take bus trips to cemeteries, so you can get pictures made in a cemetery setting. We have little side trips to forest areas, and we're also including in August an opportunity to do a kayak trip down the river and get photos of going in different areas down the river. So
that'd be cool.
It's kind of capitalizing on a couple of different options that we can offer, and utilizing a broader base package. Instead of it being a water park and a roller coaster, we're doing some of the natural beauty tied into the programs that are already there. And if you want to do it just as a regular citizen, or if you want to do it as a character, imagine what you can do. It's one of the best movies that scared people in the earliest years, Deliverance.
Yeah.
What was it using?
The river, yeah.
The river and canoes.
Yep.
You can do the same scenario. A little bit of imagination, a little bit of activity.
I don't know if that would scare people to think if that's going to happen to them.
I'm going to make you squeal like a pig. Come on, squeal.
Yeah.
Squeal.
I look too much like Ned Beatty to be doing that kind of stuff.
Well, that's why, again, we have that ability at the Haunted Hydro.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome, man.
There again, that's when I look at it and it's like, these little bits and pieces also give us a broader base, and some of our staff that want to participate, this gives them an opportunity to meet different people, different talents, different capabilities.
Yeah.
And you get pictures that when you look back at them, and you don't think of this, and I'm a prime example. In the beginning years, I didn't take very many pictures. And I wish I had that. with the JCs, we had to document our programs so that we could share it with other chapters.
Yeah.
So I do have a lot of that during about 7 years. And then after that, it automatically, we had photographers and people and video people and different things. But that's something that as an actor, for a haunt program or for yourself as a person, I'm encouraging people. This is something that you will share with your family or future families. This was something that you will share with your friends or business associates. This is what I do, and it's a great opportunity to watch your life unfold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you think about it, when your first day is here, look how it's grown.
Yeah.
You have tremendously been successful with the program here.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well, yeah, good team. We have a good team.
Congratulations to Vic, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for sure. No, it's been a long road for sure.
Yeah,
like I'm sure it has been for you. And yeah, but it's a lot of people just don't understand the work that goes into it, and you learn quick.
You learn quick, or you don't survive.
Exactly.
And you learn
adapt.
You learn the Boca code. Everybody's like, "What's Boca?" You learn the do's and don'ts with fire. And issues. And you learn a lot of things with customers, because the customers, if they're not satisfied, they don't come back.
Yeah.
And organizational skills.
Oh, man. Yeah, for sure. I'm still learning that.
We all do.
Yeah.
We all do. And each time you take another step, it increases the wisdom and the talents. And I met 2 of your people helping you with your production, and what a wonderful, and she just got her degree in social media.
Yeah.
And her name is?
Elena,
we're saying hi to you, baby.
No, she's back there.
I know. She's behind a wall. I can't see her, but
she's
Hello.
there. There she is.
Congratulations on your degree, honey.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
See, he's got people. Vic has many talented people behind him.
Yeah.
He's utilizing the opportunities and the facilities here. But like you said, with each step is an interesting challenge.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, in any walk of life, really.
So,
but especially this one. But so I also wanted to ask you before we get out of here.
Okay. Ask away. It's your show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I interfere a lot, but that's okay.
No, that's fine. That's why we brought you in. So, is there any new developments on the Monster Make-Off?
Well, again, we had a major. In fact, that's the one phone call I just got.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bumped him for you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Crazy Bob.
There's a gentleman that with ABC streaming, and so that some people understand what you're asking about, Vic.
Yeah.
Is that 3 years ago? Well, actually, about 5 years ago, I was upset. I was really, really upset because some of my staff was getting lackadaisy.
Yeah.
They weren't spending enough time with their makeup. They weren't challenging themselves to improve, or this is good. I can get it on in 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want creations. I want visions. I want things they can't find at a Walmart or a Kmart or a costume store, or to some degree at the conventions.
Yeah.
I want a creation that is, in essence, similar to your opportunity. This is a prison reformatory. It mandates certain characters, but you have the chance to create the character that you want, and try this, and then try this, and then try this. And they were getting slack. So we started little competitions among ourselves, and okay, here's a $25 gift certificate, or here's a credit, or here's a gas card, different things.
Yeah.
And then I had some other haunts involved that, hey, can we come? This sounds like fun.
Yeah.
We did an hour and 45 minutes, and it was not creating the wheel. I will be point blank. Face Off was on television. I liked what they were doing, but it didn't really fit the haunt industry. Although they had a lot of people from the haunt industry involved in their programs, and a lot of them came from the Ohio, Cleveland areas and different places. But I wanted something a little different. And I had a vision that could network the major haunt hubs across the United States in 4 divisions. And we even had a chance, and still do, but just like right now, the Canadian border's not really open yet.
No, it isn't.
And we could take it into Canada because, again, cosplay reaches up into Canada and does different things. And, there's a wide opportunity.
Yeah.
So we started that competition. Well, one thing led to another. I've got 5 people from 5 groups from Michigan. I've got 3 or 4 that come from Indiana. I've got 2 or 3 that come from Pennsylvania. I've got all over Ohio. We had 2 to 4 that came from Kentucky. Now you got 50, 60 people that are looking at it, and not everybody can come on the same date. So we would hold 2 or 3 monster make-off competitions. And that's what we developed with the format. But it takes a large area, wide open, and seating capacity. You need a filming and social media program to carry it to Facebook while you're simulcast doing a video for theatrical opportunities and for we were going for the educational channels.
Yeah.
Because we had an educational channel through Bowling Green State University. And again, best laid plans, all of a sudden, it's like in March of 2020, you can't have a group more than 10.
Yeah.
And we can't do it. And that lasted for over a year and 2 or 3 months. Now we're just back at the point, well, Bob Turner and his wife Beth started a kayak business. So it's kind of like we've got all the other opportunities there. We've got the video photographers, we've got the photographers, we've got the social media people that are still intact, and to start to rebuild the makeup people and everything else. So Bob wants to say, I want to see the money before I take it any further.
Right.
I know the capabilities, and once we do that, then we can look at it and say, we have a person that owns a haunt program down in Louisiana. I love the guy, and we want to work with him. We got one in North Carolina. We've got one in California, and we've got another one that's in Michigan. So if I can have about 6 to 8 make-off competitions around, bing, 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 bing.
Yeah.
Now we can have a national convention.
Yeah,
and
that'd
I
be cool.
wanted to tie that into a couple of opportunities that would make it the star of a convention.
Yeah.
We did one here at your location.
Yeah. I remember.
And highly successful with the format, with the opportunities, and actually we couldn't take any more people because we fulfilled the obligation of filling your floor.
Yeah,
and,
I remember. It was great.
And we're excited about it. I still, if I can get a couple of financial sponsors with it, it's ready to go. And I am now happy to say, by the way, Ghoul Runnings Kayak Adventures, July 13th, tomorrow, is the grand opening of the Sandusky River portion. We've done the slow start already, but we have the mayor and the key staff of Fremont City. We have the Tourist and Convention Bureau. We have we have a huge ribbon cutting ceremony tomorrow from 4 to 6. So anybody in the area, come on down, 4 to 6 o'clock on 1773 South River Road, Fremont, Ohio, and love to have you. Rumor has it there's munchies and all kinds of stuff there. And they're even getting special prices if they want to go out. The weather looks decent. Can't guarantee Ohio.
Yeah.
Screw Mother Nature.
Yeah.
So
what are the normal, what are your normal operating hours for the kayak stuff?
we'll go, generally speaking, from 11 until 7.
Okay.
Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays only.
Gotcha.
Monday through Thursday. If you have a special group or you want to take a group down the river, we can do that with advanced knowledge. So we just got finished doing 86 Girl Scouts, a full day program for them. We've got several different other organizations and church groups, and we're doing team building with some of the industry that want to come and pair the people to work together and put some challenges in place with going down the river. So we've got several different good options. The other thing that's being done with the Hayes Presidential Center, by the way, a big shout out to that. People don't know we actually had the President of the United States came from Fremont, Ohio, and it was President Hayes.
Yeah.
They have a beautiful library. They have a beautiful facility there in Fremont, Ohio.
Yeah.
And they are helping us with a historical trip down the river so that you can have the opportunity to know when the bridges were built and how many grist mills were there, what the Indians, the Scoto Indians were, and the early days, and how they had the clay banks and used it for pottery for their trading and their beadwork and different things of that nature.
Yeah.
So they're working with us to produce a historical trip down the rivers on a regular basis for 2022. So
that's cool.
We've got a lot of really, really cool things in place with that.
Yeah, there's a lot more in Fremont than you think. We went there, was it? No, well, it was about a year and a half ago, I guess. We went over there and did the Hayes, went through the big house.
Yeah.
Just gorgeous.
Victorian house that is actually almost 100% restored to the original patina, wallpaper, the woodwork, and the furniture of what the president had in the house at the time they lived there.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It is amazing.
They did a horse and carriage.
Activities.
Did those and went into the library and checked that out. It was really educational. The kids even had fun doing it. So, you know.
And they do have special events there, dresses of the ladies' presidential activities. They bring in different traveling things.
Yeah.
My favorite one, I'm still kind of a kid. They do a train program. A choo-choo train type program where you have the different Lionel trains and things, and Crazy Bob for a rotational format in our trailer. I'm going to this year build remember they sold Halloween miniatures that fit onto the railroad programs. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
Yeah, I've got boxes after boxes after boxes of all
Really?
that stuff to create the haunted train stations and the haunted houses and everything else.
Nice.
Yeah, so
That's cool.
I'm gonna. That's something I still want to do. So,
well, man, I can't think of anything that it's very educational, and anybody who catches this, I hope listened and to everything you got to say, because man, you're a guy that's full of knowledge. You've been around, you've been doing it.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes is, you can sit and talk all day, but until you get out there, and you're a prime example of that, just talking about being all over the world and doing the things that you've done. And the Hydra's been around for so long, and, running the forest before that, and it's just an amazing thing. And I know at Trans World this year, because I saw you there, it was me and House and a couple of people from our crew, and we saw you out there in front of the convention center. So we want to throw you a big congratulations on the Haunted Attraction Association Lifetime Achievement Award.
Thank you.
And it's well deserved. I watched the, I didn't watch it as it happened because we were in St. Louis, but I saw it a few days later, the video of Tater giving you the award. Yeah, it was great. Did you know that was coming?
No.
No?
In fact, it was supposed to be given in 2020.
Yeah.
And as everybody knows, our major national convention, and a big shout out to Jennifer Thaler and all of her people who worked so hard to try to put it all together. And I had the privilege of working for her dad, Joe Thaler, in the beginning when it was called a costume and paper goods convention. And they allowed a few haunters to have one little row down through there.
Yeah.
And, so I've seen it at the Rosemont Convention Center grow from where it was merged with other industry groups and now became its own entity. And now, of course, we've grown to where we've included Christmas show stuff.
Yeah.
And we have a secondary format that it now includes the 3D social media people. It includes escape
rooms,
people,
escape room
and
city.
they're doing 2 or 3 different micro escape room conventions as well.
Yeah.
And there are lots of good things. So, folks, if you get the chance, go to Transworld online, and you can get more information. But again, that's was the catalyst that actually grew the industry quicker, faster, and bigger and better by bringing all the minds together.
Yeah.
And the competition gets fierce.
Yeah.
It gets real fierce.
Sure does.
That's when I look at it, and it's like I was very privileged to have a great group of people. There were actually 21 people that volunteered at no pay to step into start the first organization for haunt locations, charities, businesses, and it did include the actors in the beginning. And it was called the IAHA, International Association of Haunted Attractions. And it ran for about 14 years or so. Then it evolved into another program, another association. And then it's evolved into morphed into a third organization, which now allows actors to be a part of the program again.
Oh, wow.
It has gone through a wide range of great people. And I was very fortunate to have some good ones. So there's a guy out there I'm going to say hi to. His name's Randy Young, an attorney at law, and Pete from Niles Haunted House. Those guys magically got us bona fide footing with an industry that was so argumentative. You're not stealing my ideas, and I'm not going to give you this information, and don't you touch my actors, and da-da-da-da-da-da. And, now there is some disconnection with it, but the majority of the format has grown our business to where magically major theme parks have now taken over, and they're granddaddies.
Yeah.
And Cedar Fair is no little lightweight format.
Right.
And when they bought Dorheat Park and Hershey Park and all the others, magically all of a sudden their season grew so big that that's the major producing season for them.
Yeah.
For Halloween. And I've enjoyed watching as a bystander. And then in that year, they have their little powwows, and I'm no longer active in the politics of the industry because I've made the choice that I still want to go out and fly a little. I still want to. My wife convinced me we want to do one more little business hoorah before we stop, or somebody comes and buys us out. But I'm at a point where I look at it and it's like I've enjoyed working with so many wonderful people, including you, because actually you're taking the reins of this opportunity because there was somebody prior to you. You've been able to reestablish the concepts, the activities here. You've got a dedicated cast and crew. It's fun to watch successful people.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, hey, can we go down to Mansfield? It's like, I don't own you. You can go. Of course you can. And I said, but if you call off sick and I catch you down there,
Beth called me one time asking if somebody was down here. Was this 2 seasons ago?
Yeah.
She says, "Hey, is so and so down there?" And I'm like, "No, honestly, I didn't even know who it was." I'm I'm not exactly sure.
Well, you're like me. It's like they work for me.
Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, right.
What's their names again?
Yeah,
I only get to see. They only give me the people that have a problem.
Yeah,
they're gonna go before Crazy Bob.
Yeah,
prepare to bend over.
Oh, geez.
Take the reciprocal end of a big wooden board. Not really, but the idea is that again, it's opportunities of networking, because that's the only way you will succeed.
Yeah.
If you don't want to listen to other people, you're going to make mistakes that are costly. If you don't want to listen to other people, you're going to find that you're doing something 3 times backwards, and it could be done so much more simpler.
Yeah.
Or companies that produce it on time, companies that deliver what you ask for, companies, and vendors and so forth. So, I mean, that's the beauty of it. So But as far as receiving the Lifetime Achievement Award, I was blown out of the water.
Yeah.
Sydney Neal was one of my iconic people. And she received a Lifetime Achievement Award. And, you know, I feel guilty because there's so many wonderful people that also that were part of the success and part of the recognition and part of what we did that gave it the entire name. So while I'm on your show, again, thank you to everybody who participated and helped me in those endeavors, who helped our industry in those endeavors.
Yeah.
Because without your help, nothing could have been accomplished. And today, we now have a bona fide organization. We now have wonderful opportunities to develop new goals, new technology. We're doing a podcast right here live at Mansfield Reformatory in Ohio. And you couldn't have done that 10 years ago.
Yeah, that would have been
you
tough.
Had to do it in a studio, a professional studio,
yeah,
which would have cost you $30,000-$40,000.
Right, for sure.
So, and 5 or 6 people. And we've got Sarah.
Elena.
I know.
That's me.
I love you, honey. Sorry I forgot your name.
That's okay. Love you too, Crazy Bob.
I told you, don't let that girl next door demeanor fool you.
Well, all I can tell you is
she's wild.
It has been a pleasure, and it's been a long ride. And again, you know, congratulations on your achievements. Congratulations on the format, because I do know that, you know, you've also had various other activities here at the facility. You've been involved with them. You've had your haunt, which is built into the program. You've been able to open that up a number of times and do different programs. And
we're going to do a Christmas one this year. First time. We're gonna throw our hat in the Christmas ring and see how that goes.
So can Crazy Bob come down and play?
Yeah, of course. You know it. You know it, man. We're going to do that. And we also open for a music fest they do here called Incarceration. But that's kind of just for you got to have a ticket to Ink to get into that. But I mean, you know, it's a blessing and a curse being here because like I'm jealous of guys like you because you have the Hydra and it's a haunt and that's what it is. Here it's blood prison, it's incarceration, it's tours,
and it's
ghost
rebuilding,
hunts. Every year,
renewed funding to upgrade and do different things.
You know.
So, and you are not the owner, so you can't just make an instant decision.
No.
Things of that nature. And I totally get it, but without your dedication, it's like Eastern State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
You know, and those guys up there have done so phenomenal and so well. And demographics play a big point.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you are not a little bird trying to fight off all the predators. You know, you have a network of people that pro and con, good and bad, with what you want to do, how you want to do it, and the different activities. Because when we did come down to do the convention format that was held here, you had established vendors, you had new vendors, you had a combination of a lot of fresh blood, and fresh blood is what makes our industry stay alive.
Yeah, for sure.
So that and if things do take off, like I said, I'm still, and I can't really discuss or divulge with the Monster Makeoff. I can simply just say, here's what the status is. Because even I don't know the answer at this point.
Keep us posted.
I will.
Yeah.
I certainly will. And again, you had great talent that is here. You know, again, the good haunts look for opportunities to expand different directions.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one of the nice things is that if you stay the same, you're not going to grow. You don't grow, you don't stay in business.
Right. That's true. That is very true. And you're a good example. I mean, anything I've done pales in comparison to what you've done, for sure.
Okay,
you know,
I'll give you the $50 bill after the meeting's held. And I want to do one more shout out one more time.
Sure, absolutely.
This is the Haunted House Special. Remember those words, Haunted House Special. If you bring 8 people or more from your crew or cast for a river trip, you save $5 a person. You also get afterwards a free tour of the Haunted Hydro by one of our staff or by myself with the behind the scenes so that you get to see the entire activity. You can set it up at your convenience. It's not restricted. So it's a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, 11 to 7. Now, you do need to get there prior to the time of that. So we have special runs at like 12, 2:30, and 5 for the river trips of 2 hours. And or you can come up to the reservoir and just do a 1-hour program introductory, because we know that if you come and you do an introductory program, that you're going to want to come back and do a 2-hour trip.
Yeah, there you go.
So, but that's just because you're listening to the podcast.
Yeah.
Today, right here, with the infamous Vic.
Jeez.
So that's when I look at it and say, Haunted House Special, Fremont, Ohio, and it's called Ghoul Runnings Kayak Adventure. But look under ghoulrunnings.com.
There you go.
And more information.
Ghoulrunnings.com.
And we have the reservoir, we have the scenic Sandusky River, we have guided or self-guided. If you want to do it on your own without a guide, you can do that. We have different tours and operations, and we're doing some events and competitions. We have a fishing competition where you go down the river and catch fish and win a prize.
Now, see, that's what I like to do.
We have 7 fishing kayaks up there too.
Nice.
So you can rent those as well, or the canoes. We also have Kayak Lessons. We're ACA certified. That's American Canoe Association, and we have 4 of us are certified instructors with the format that is up there. Yeah, I got a little credential card that says, "You are an instructor." Ooh, that's dangerous.
Yeah, sounds dangerous.
And you know, it's my wife has a motto. It says, "Life is too short to stay inside and not enjoy the great outdoors."
Yeah.
Life is too short to stay inside and not enjoy the great outdoors.
Right.
So come on up, Ghouls Kayaking. Or if you're just an actor or a home haunter, check out Mansfield Reformatory or come check out the Haunted Hydro, Dark Attraction Park. And we love the business. We have a passion for it. And until the next time, who's your next guest?
My next guest will be Jeff Hartz from the Zombie Works Cleveland Haunt Club. He's going to come down and hang out for a while.
Good old Jeffrey.
Yes.
Yes.
Love that guy.
That man has given his heart and soul.
Yes,
For
he has.
those of you that are in the Cleveland area, it's the Cleveland Haunt Club.
Yeah.
And they do a wonderful job. We've been a sponsor of that program for years now.
Yeah.
We have a hydro ambulance that we take up there. So,
Well, I will tell you this about the Hydro. I know you mentioned earlier about trying to sell it.
yeah.
It'd never be the same without you.
Well,
Do you ever think of that? If someone actually buys that, how are they going to continue on without you?
actually, what we did, or what we will do, they get a 1-year consultation and appearances by Crazy Bob for the transition.
Yeah.
I have a park manager who is absolutely the best. I wish I could just say, here it is, and let him take it over. But I can't do that because Bob's trying to retire.
Yeah.
I know you may not realize this, but I've got a goal, one way or the other, 2.5 more years. I will be 70.
Really?
I will be 70.
Well, you don't look it.
So I want to stop someplace.
Yeah.
And there's some more trips I want to take, some places I want to go. And
Sure.
there's an island with my name on it that says, do a fixer-upper, and it's a 6-month bed and breakfast for the public. And then the rest of the time, it's going to be Bob.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's what I say.
Crazy Island.
So it'll be a crazy island without a doubt, because then I can legally do things that I'm not allowed to do now. But we are looking at again developing some more activities, and this year is Escape Alley, which is going to be really unique.
That does sound cool,
because it gives you the opportunity where you're not there to be scared. In a format, you're there to take a group of people and work together to find the solutions in a 5-minute escape room.
Yeah.
It's really 7 minutes, but it's 5-minute escape room format that's timed on a countdown. And you're given clues and everything. It's really, really fun. It started out actually with many thank yous go out to Kelly Collins, who used to have the Scaratorium down in Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, yeah.
him and Nina have been lifelong friends of ours, and actually, I had the privilege and the honor of working for him since the beginning with different projects and activities with all of his craziness. So, but again, that's when I look at it and it's like, whoever comes in, again, if somebody says, well, what does it include? It's a turnkey operation.
Yeah.
And I have promotional vehicles. I have all the equipment. We have a turnkey operation. And most of the staff will stay intact because it is what it is. And that's when you look at it. If you can come in and find 25 to 30 staff that are key core, you've got half the job licked because you can't get that when you first open the doors.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
So that's something that I don't discuss on the air, but it's not that expensive for it. Especially the property is right beside a park now. The park used to be there's 77 acres for the park. The park was my old golf course. Yeah. And it's now part of the park district, which is working with us to promote the kayaking company.
There you go.
Because I'm excited about that.
Yeah.
So
sounds fun.
It is.
What are your dates for the Hydra this year?
We are going to do 5 weeks, Fridays, Saturdays. We're going to do the last 2 Sundays, and then there will be a dark night. And we're kind of
lights
playing.
Off.
Yeah. So you're basically looking at 13 nights of operation type of thing.
Cool.
And we're going to keep it that way. At one time, we were open as many as 24 days.
Yeah.
Back prior to 2001. Those days are you have to stay lean and stay productive. You have to, and that's why we're staying with the time ticketing. I'm very, very excited with what we did last year. I saw people coming out. They weren't, oh, Jesus Christ. I hear it, and I'm not picking on a certain major mega park that's near us. But if I have to stand in a queue line for 45 minutes, I'm pissed. I drove to get there. I did this, I did that, and I'm no different. If I go to a haunted house, I'll pay for that VIP speed.
Yeah, me too.
I don't want to wait.
Yeah,
I don't want to wait.
Yeah.
I didn't have anybody waiting last year.
Yeah.
And, we did it by hourly. So at the beginning of the hour, you can come and get in. And we were pumping them right through. It worked very well. So, folks, if you want to come to a haunted house that's got it together and that gives you the opportunity to see and enjoy like an hour to an hour and a half of fun excitement without the lines, Haunted Hydra, Fremont, Ohio. It's a dark attraction park that just waits to see you.
Well, Bob, I want to thank you, man, again for coming in and hanging out with us for all this time and for being a guy to look up to in the industry, definitely, because I know a lot of guys do.
I appreciate that, and like I said, I'm blessed because I had good people helping me and still helping me even to this day, and that's another reason why I'm at a point where it's like I want to sell mine just to go visit and act at others.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm at a point in life where I can still do it. I want to go back to Australia. I want to see what I can do back there 1 or 2 more times. And, I can't do it, with obligations with the other.
Right.
So, and there could be monster make-off competitions coming your way in a production, which if that happens, then I still do a 40-hour job, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I still do a 40-hour. I work for the city of Fremont.
So that is a full-time gig.
That's a full-time gig.
Yeah.
But that allows me to buy my toys I want.
There you go.
So, and insurance and all the other stuff
that
you need in life. But
yes, for sure.
Again, it's been a pleasure here. I wish you much success with your podcast program.
Oh, thank you.
And to the supporters behind you, thank you for a very enjoyable evening.
Maybe she didn't hear. They're not paying attention. They're not paying attention to those old guys out there.
I'm going to cry on air. Anyway, but we look forward to it. And with your podcast, again, this is how I was able to listen to some of the different things that were being done.
Yeah.
I would go on the internet and search different, Haunt World, a lot of other things that was the early days. and you get to that point where it's like, I'm hungry for knowledge.
Yeah.
And there's knowledge out there. There's good people out there. And the other thing is that after I do sell our facility, I've got 2 or 3 friends that would like us to come and do training programs and actor events and things with that, and that would allow me to travel again. So I enjoy traveling. So if you have your Christmas Halloween program, I will gainfully volunteer my time to come down and,
all right.
and just
I'm gonna hold you to it.
You can hold me. You can put me behind the bars. You can put me wherever you want. It'd just be fun to come down and visit you guys and
sure,
and have fun scaring.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah, it's fun.
And you never know. It might not be Crazy Bob that appears.
No.
It could be something else that we dream of.
I'm all for it, man.
So
I'm all for it.
All right. Well, it's been a pleasure.
All right, Bob.
And thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And to all your listeners, make sure you tune in for his next one, which will be
with Jeff Hartz of the Cleveland Haunt Club.
An amazing man who has successfully brought home haunters, professional haunters, craft people for Halloween all together, does a wonderful job of it. He does have monthly meetings with his club, and he has a club that you can join, and we're going to give a shout out to him, Jeffrey.
Yeah.
We love you, buddy.
Yes, we do. We love him.
So
Zombie works.
And I'll shut this portion down. Well, it's finally you let Crazy Bob back into the studio. You SOB. I'm telling you what, you locked me up that long and you won't let Bob Turner talk to you, but you won't let Crazy Bob loose. Well, tonight I'm going to get loose. I've got to go home. It's an hour and 29 minutes back. So everybody on the way back to Fremont, Ohio, Northwest Ohio, between Toledo and Sandusky, look out, baby, because Crazy Bob's on the road.
Thank you, man. You have a good one.
You too, my friend.